Good afternoon. I'm Shawn Yao, and this is One News Now. Malacanang wants a 240 billion peso budget for pandemic response in the 2022 national budget. Maricel Halili joins us live from Mandaluyong City to break that figure down for us. Mase, which agencies are going to be covered by this pandemic budget proposal?
Hi, Sean. Actually, the 242 billion pesos budget allotment is just for the Department of Health. There are also other budget allotted to other government departments, which is actually allocated also for pandemic response. For example, in DPWH, they have a separate budget for the pandemic response because, as we all know, they are in charge in building or establishing isolation centers and additional hospitals for COVID patients. But speaking of the 240 billion pesos response, of course, a part of it will be allocated for the booster shots by next year for the 2022 budget proposal. If my memory serves me right, about 45 billion pesos will be allotted for the booster shot. But just to clarify, for now, they are not encouraging the public to go to vaccination centers, vaccination sites for booster shots. The plan is to start the procurement of booster shots by next year.
Right. So what are the options so far from the IATF, or that the IATF has given us, on the next quarantine classifications here in Metro Manila? Everybody wants to know this, Mase.
So far, Sean, they have two options. Number one is to extend the enhanced community quarantine in Metro Manila after August 20. And their second option is to de-escalate the quarantine classification in Metro Manila. So it means from ECQ, they will impose moderate ECQ. But this afternoon, the members of the IATF will be having a meeting to discuss that because, well, the business sector is in favor for the de-escalation of the quarantine classification in Metro Manila because a lot of businesses have already been affected by the strict imposition of quarantine. And by tomorrow, there is a tentative schedule of the Talk to the People of President Duterte. So if everything will go as planned, the president will be announcing their decision tomorrow.
All right. Having said that, having asked already when the new quarantine classifications are, Mase, I guess what we'll be asking next is the budget for cash aid. Have they already determined where to get the cash aid in case we do go to ECQ again?
Actually, Sean, that is one of the huge problems of the national government. Secretary Roque said that they cannot impose the extension of ECQ if the government cannot identify the source of fund for additional cash aids for those who will be affected. So that will be one of the consideration while they will be making their decision this afternoon.
All right, in terms of a transportation bubble, is Malacanang in favor of creating one for at least vaccinated population as proposed by Joey Concepcion, the presidential advisor for entrepreneurship?
We asked that to Secretary Roque earlier. He said that this is a welcome suggestion or idea coming from Secretary Joey Concepcion. But Secretary Roque also said that it is too early to discuss that proposition because before discussing such recommendation, the national government still has to achieve the population protection first, particularly in Metro Manila. For now, Secretary Dizon said that we have already achieved 41% of the eligible population, or I mean 41% of the population in Metro Manila are already fully vaccinated. Their target is to achieve 50% by the end of August.
Right. Now, the United States has a plan to roll out booster shots by September. Will this in any way affect our vaccine supply or our incoming vaccine supply?
hopefully, Sean, it won't affect our vaccine supply. Secretary Dizon said that they have already established contracts and commitments coming from different countries, including USA. So they're hoping that the steady supply of vaccines will continue until the end of this year.
Right. What about supply on the ground, like right here that we actually have? Do we have enough supply if indeed they do extend quarantine or ECQ? And are we expecting more vaccine deliveries incoming still in the next few days or weeks?
So far, Sean, well, as mentioned by the Metro Manila mayors, they have already requested additional 4 million doses of vaccines in Metro Manila. They have already used 3.2 million of these additional vaccines, and they hope to use all these doses by August 30 or by the end of this month. But they actually admitted that in other provinces, they are still suffering from a lack of vaccine supply, especially those provinces in Visayas and Mindanao. Well, Secretary Dizon reiterated that, of course, their priority are those areas that are suffering from an increase when it comes to the number of COVID cases. At the same time, they actually commend the local government units that have shown an efficient vaccination programs like in Marikina, in Pateros, and other cities in Metro Manila.
Right. The Commission on Audit, Mase, has been calling out different government agencies in the last few weeks, or rather in the last few days or this past week. Any other special mentions? And did the Palace have any reaction to this?
Secretary Roque said that he called the head of OWA earlier, and OWA has explained that they just have to complete all the documents that are being asked by the Commission on Audit. And then after that, they are actually confident that they can submit all the requirements to complete the report to ensure that there are no anomaly or there are no misspending when it comes to the budget of OWA. Now, when it comes to the issue on PPA, Secretary Roque said that he was trying to call the head of PPA several times this morning, but unfortunately he did not answer Secretary Roque's call. So he cannot comment on the procurement of a PPA being questioned by COA.
Right, Mase, thank you so much for all those updates. Again, that was Maricel Halili reporting to us live from Mandaluyong City. And the health department says that more people got vaccinated in Metro Manila during the 2-week ECQ period. Undersecretary Mir Nakabotahe said over 168,000 jabs were administered per day compared to just around 151,000 daily pre-lockdown. So far, 1.8 million residents in the capital region have received their COVID-19 vaccines during the 2-week ECQ period. Kabotahe attributed the increase primarily to public concerns on the spread of the highly infectious Delta COVID variant.
Maraming factors. Unang-una, nag-improve ng husto yung ating acceptance, di ba? Natakot sila sa Delta variant. So mas dumami ang gustong magpapakina.
In other news, businessmen are warning of possible detrimental effects of the ECQ to the economy. Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry Acting President Edgardo Lacson calls lockdowns a, quote, reckless solution against COVID-19. He added that the Philippines should try to recharge the economy as the country is looking at a third or a worse third and fourth quarters.
But with the continuing specter of lockdown, which we are experiencing right now, the third and the fourth quarter looks gloomier than expected. Give our economy a chance to rebuild, recharge, by avoiding lockdown as the quickie and reckless solution.
On the other hand, we have frontline healthcare workers not wanting to extend the lockdown. Speaking to 1PH's Sa Totoo Lang, Philippine College of Physicians President Dr. Maricar Limpin said many healthcare workers are calling for lockdown extension as hospitals are already full at the moment. She did add, though, that in case the government does not extend ECQ, all other precautions such as border controls and social distancing must be strictly enforced.
Pinag-uusapan namin yung lockdown, no, marami doon sa mga colleagues namin sa emergency room, sinasabi nila sana magtuloy-tuloy na ituloy pa yung lockdown. As somebody na in government and then also looking at the economic impact, no, I think we have to weigh things and we'll just wait doon sa desisyon ng ating national government kung itutuloy ba itong lockdown.
Meanwhile, the Commission on Audit, or COA, has flagged the unutilized and unobligated funds from the Agriculture Department's 2020 budget. For the latest, we have Shyla Francisco joining us live from Quezon City. Shyla, it's the DA's turn now to go under fire from the COA. What was the Agri Department's reaction to this?
Sean, the Agriculture Department assures the public that there are no irregularities in its use of public funds last year. This comes after the Commission on Audit called out the DA for erroneous and incomplete accounting records involving 34 billion pesos out of its 60 billion peso budget in 2020. The state auditor added that the DA failed to spend around 9.8 billion, which was returned to the Treasury Bureau. As for its COVID-19 funds under Bayanihan 1 and 2, over 2 billion were unobligated due to procurement delays and non-implementation of projects. Under Bayanihan 2 alone, the COA observed that there are no funds utilized or obligated last year due to documentation issues. The agency also pointed out the unreliability of the DA's farmers database used as basis for aid distribution, citing several reports of duplicate names and beneficiaries not included in the official list, leading to overpayment. The Samahang Industriya at Agrikultura said the unspent funds could have helped farmers as they still await assistance from the DA. The group is now asking the Senate to conduct further investigation as to why the funds were not given to farmers. The DA noted, however, that they are now addressing concerns flagged by the COA, which are mostly documentation issues. As for unspent funds, Agriculture Secretary William Gar said the amount is insignificant compared to its utilization rate. Sean, the DA is now coordinating with the Budget Department regarding the funds under Bayanihan 2. They are asking whether they could still use the remaining obligated funds even after the June 30 deadline. Sean?
Thank you so much for that update. That was Shyla Francisco reporting to us live from Quezon City. Stay safe, Shyla. We'll have more stories after this quick break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. Crematoriums in Binyan, Laguna are bearing the brunt of the rise in COVID-19 deaths in the city. JC Cosico joins us live from Binyan for more details. JC, how are crematoriums there holding up? Is it true that they are over capacity and overburdened?
Sean, crematoriums in Binyan City are getting overwhelmed amid rising COVID-19 cases in the area. Mayor Armandi Maguila said that around 3 to 4 cadavers are in line every day for cremation. That's why they ordered a freezer to temporarily store the bodies as they cannot be immediately accommodated. The freezer is expected to be delivered this week. Despite this, the Maguila said that there are still enough spaces in columbariums and cemeteries, so a mass grave is not yet needed. The City Health Office says there are averaging about two COVID-19 deaths daily this August, most of whom are unvaccinated elderlies with comorbidities. With this, they're encouraging Binyan residents to get jabbed immediately to prevent more deaths due to COVID-19. So far, Binyan has fully vaccinated around 13.25% of their over 251,000 target of population. Sean, so far, COVID-19 cases in the city have reached over 5,000. About 7.6% are active cases. Now, the city also recorded one Delta variant case, and it is now tagged as recovered. Back to you.
Thank you so much for that update and stay safe down there in Binyan City. That was News 5's JC Cosico. Thank you. Time to take a quick look at today's other top stories. Malacanang says that more than 12.8 million people have been fully vaccinated against COVID-19. 16.2 million vaccinees, meanwhile, have yet to receive their second doses. The daily average of vaccines administered nationwide this past week has hit 445,000. The World Health Organization says there's no need for booster shots, at least for now. Experts said that current data do not indicate a need for extra shot against COVID-19. Because of this, the agency reiterates that the shots should first reach poorer countries before ruling out boosters. Tropical depression Isang has entered the Philippine area of responsibility as it moves northwestward over the Philippine Sea. State Weather Bureau Pag-asa says that Isang is unlikely to directly affect the weather condition of the country throughout the forecast period. For more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Masks on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I'm Sean Yao. We are One News.
Mayor, I heard ang city government of Binyan nag-order ng cadaver freezers.
Yes.
Unang-una pa.
Well,